Parents of Reddit, what's your best example of reversed psychology on your kids that actually worked? Dad, and certified foster parent here. Best trick I learned. Give kids choices. Would you like water or apple juice? Would you prefer to read or make up your room? This way, you guide them, but it is their choice. Always give them option A or B. Maybe change B for C if they argue, but be firm. If they don't choose, then you tell them you will make a decision for them. At the end, they will choose, and will feel a commitment to their choice. Also, not providing them with a choice that doesn't even exist. If you say, "Can you help me clean up?" they're obviously going to say no. And obviously no isn't what you wanted. So it's more "it's time to clean up" than "can you clean up?" Best I saw was when the kid would never bother to take out the trash. The dad said it was fine and he'd do it, and that he was sorry for thinking the kid was mature enough to be responsible for anything. Really made him feel like a baby, and a week later he started taking the trash out without being asked. OMG. This is like what my dad would do. Ask us to do something, and if it didn't get done right away he would just silently get up and get it done and make us feel terrible about not getting on it first. I work with toddlers, and sometimes if they fall down or get hurt, then I'll clap and cheer and tell them, "Wow, that was so cool." They smile and get up instead of crying and continue playing. I only do this when they fall and pause thinking if they should cry or not. Growing up we never had soft drinks, soda, in the house. My mum would on a rare occasion buy Diet Coke for herself and tell my brothers and I, "Yuck, why would you want this black drink?" To this day I think Coke is disgusting and it hurts my teeth. That's what our mum did with us. It worked till we were 10 or so. I've done this one with tens of kids. Anytime a kid gets hurt, falls down on grass, gets gently hit in the face with a ball, etc., instead of stopping the activity to pick the kid up and see if they're okay, you just scoot them off to the side and resume. Within 10 seconds of not getting all the attention and seeing the fun is resuming, they pop right back up and are magically healed. This of course is only for the injuries that aren't actually injuries. Twice a year I'll let the kids eat whatever they want and do whatever they want. It ends up being a lot of junk food. The first maybe 3 times they ate so bad a few of them threw up. They now regulate themselves much better and choose quality snacks over quantity. Hahaha, we call that day yes day, and so far they are so stinkin' tame. I'm over here suggesting cake for breakfast and all they want is pancakes. We make pancakes every dang weekend. The craziest we've gotten is letting them stay up as late as they want. So, 10 PM. My younger brother had a general lack of confidence and had stammering problems when facing an auditions when he was in middle school. His earliest participations saw no success and he became further embroiled in self-loathing and general listlessness. I started to convince him to participate in more and more debates by telling him that whenever he'll face a defeat, we'll go somewhere and have a nice eat out or do something fun. Thinking probably that he wasn't perhaps very good at it, he started trying his hand at every single debate thereafter. Every time he lost, we used engage in some fun activity to his liking, and that just gave him the initial push into further involvement in the debating scene of his school. Eventually, he got good at it and started winning competitions after competitions. He's in his final year of schooling, is the best speaker of his school, has won several awards as testimony, has won slam poetry competitions, and even secured an international medal in an English Olympiad. We do fun activities now, too, but to celebrate his victories of course. Yay. This is so sweet. You're a great sibling. As a former kid, the best reversal my mom ever did was to get me to eat liver, which I hated. So she came up with this dish called rivalry, with onions, and served it, and I wolfed it down, glad to not have to eat liver. It took me years to realize what was going on, not because I was dumb, but I never expected to be fooled on this, and not in such a cheap, underhanded way. Spell it backwards, all you did was rename it, and it worked. Mom, damn it. R.I.P. Mom. I still make my own rivalry now and then just to reminisce. So I work at a day camp during the summer, and whenever a kid gets hurt or something, I always joke around and say, "Alright, kid's name. Am I gonna have to call an ambulance? Docs, go to cut the limb right there. Just cut it off." Works every time. Gets them laughing. Joking about amputation is always a winner with kids. potty training son. He just turned 3. He is proving harder and more stubborn than his sister was. When I put on his diaper, I say diapers are for little babies. Let's go put on your little baby diaper on. He says I am not a baby. Well, big boys go on the potty. He's on day 5 with no diapers during the day. That's almost how my mom potty trained my sister. My sister was turning 2 and my mom told her that she went to the store to buy diapers and the man at the store said that sis was getting old for diapers. Boom. She potty trained herself in a day. My dad used to say that when the ice cream truck was playing music it meant he had run out of ice cream. Wait, that's not reverse psychology. That's just freaking lying, Dad. My parents skipped the middleman and just straight up told us that was the music truck. Fortunately, we have an uncle with a conscience. My wife was feeding our son, a year old, and he would refuse to eat his baby cereal, but wanted to eat the yogurt I was eating. So I took the spoonful of baby cereal and made it look like I scooped it out of the yogurt container. He ate it up happily. This was an ex of mine. His mom told him and his sister that whenever they were out on public, that they had to make sure she wasn't kidnapped. So these 2 kids would follow their mom around and never lose sight of her, fearing that she would be abducted. But guess which kids never got lost? My brother is special needs and we tell him to keep an eye on this person so they don't get lost. I wish I could say it always works, but we've still managed to lose track of him a lot. He's finally doing a bit better. I used to tell my little toddlers that if they were fibbing, a black dot would appear on their tongue to their mother. So if I suspected a lie, I'd just say, stick out your tongue. If they kept tight-lipped, I knew I was right. They are teenagers now and laugh about how they fell for this for years. I pulled a version of Tom Sawyer painting the fence and tricking his friends into doing it for him. I wouldn't let my kids, 3 and 5, pick up the dog poop in our yard because it was too fun for me, and I still pretend to be reluctant to let them do it. To where they're begging and I'm like, okay, just this one time. Next time I get to do it I think I can ride it out for another 2 or 3 years if I keep my older son quiet so his sister can take over when he catches on. For all my childhood, mashed potatoes with carrots were called surprise potatoes. When I was about 18, my brother, my older sister and I asked my parents why the frick they were called surprise potatoes. My parents told us that my older sister just didn't like mashed potatoes with carrots when she was 3-4 years old. So one day, they did the same mashed potatoes with carrots but called them surprise potatoes. My sister just ate them up like it was the best thing in the world, so the name stuck. My mom got my sister to eat water chestnuts by telling her they were a special kind of pickle. It worked and she loves eating them. It makes no sense that it worked because at the time and to this day she loathes pickles. All 3 of my kids were allowed one stir-fry ingredient that they didn't have to eat more than 3 pieces of. 1 chose pineapple, 1 chose tomato, and 1 chose carrot. They were allowed to choose a different ingredient for next time, but never before the meal. They would eat their 3 pieces, and I'd eat the rest if they found more in the meal. Worked perfectly, everyone felt empowered. It wasn't until they were all grown up and had left home that I told them that whatever else I used in the stir fry, those 3 items were guaranteed. They now eat everything. I don't get it. My wife's aunt does one that works almost all the time. If they fall or bump something and get an owie, that is something minor, she just up and goes, oh no, what did you do to the insert object that was hit fallen on? They usually get concerned about the table or the floor like they hurt it more than they hurt themselves. I was shocked when she did that and my son had the look of oh crap, are you okay on his face and forgot he ran face first into the door frame. Child here, but still a great example. Once when my parents were having a party, I got a bad case of hiccups. After a while my dad whipped out his wallet and pulled out a $100 bill. I was probably 12 so that was a fortune to me. He said if I hiccuped again I could have the money. Standing there, a ton of adult eyes watching to see if I'd do it, and not a single hiccup came out. I was cured and pee. Here's a great one I learned a few years ago that is like magic. Your kid will hit an age where they will have unconsolable meltdowns where their brains just cease to function and they can't be comforted or calmed. Just ask, do you want to play a game, and they'll go yes through the snot bubbles. Then look around the room and ask them to find 3 blue things. They'll find them. Then 2 orange things, etc. They will calm down so quickly. Sometimes I skip the game request and just ask my son to find the objects. This is actually a tactic used by adults during panic attacks. Something about naming or counting objects and colors. 1 red sign, 2 black birds, 3 purple flowers triggers another part of the brain that can rationalize or something and helps to calm you down when you can't. I've used it myself. There's an article with science and stuff explaining this if you want to read more. My kids went through a phase where they were miserable about every activity we tried to take them to. So we started telling them that we wanted them to have a miserable time at the zoo, and that they weren't allowed to have fun. It worked. I do this all the time. My kids start whining and crying and I use an evil villain voice saying good, good, cry more, I want you to be unhappy. Then they will gang up on me and start shouting FUNNN we are having fun mom. Whenever my coworker would feed any sort of meat to her kids, it was chicken. Because they wouldn't eat anything but chicken. Piece of steak, it's chicken. Pork, it's chicken. Chicken, it's chicken. My 3-year-old daughter sometimes doesn't want to climb the stairs to our room and wants me to carry her, saying don't know how to climb. When she does it I say show me how you don't know, and she climbs few steps to show me how she can't. We repeat that until she's upstairs. How come you climbed it all if you don't know how? I ask afterwards. I guess I knew, she answers. I learned this thing called the OK trick while working in a call center. You ask someone a question and follow it up with OK. People tend to respond to a positive with a positive. So calls would go like this. Me. Well, we'll have to terminate this account then have you reopen one to add your card back in. Okay. Customer. Okay. Found out that this works super well on children. Me. Hey bud. 5 more minutes and then it's time for bed. Okay, bud. Okay. This literally happened just last night. My 3-year-old daughter didn't want to get ready for bed. This is how it went down. Me. K. Time to go to bed. Daughter, I don't want to go to bed. Let's play a game instead. Me. No, it's too late. Daughter, please I'm not tired. Me. Alright, let's see who can get ready for bed the fastest. Daughter, thinks about it for a few seconds. No, that's not a game. Me. In a really excited voice. No seriously. Let's see who can get ready the fastest. I bet I will beat you. Daughter, gets a huge grin on her face. No you won't. Let's go. And she races me up the stairs and gets her pajamas on and brushes her teeth faster than ever. Hopefully this one will work again in the future. She is awkwardly competitive about a lot of things and like to treat most things as a race. We have to tell her all the time that everything is not a race. Probably not helping using this tactic above, but whatever. I won't lie, I would have pretended to sabotage her getting ready so she would try even harder to get it done as fast as possible. I use it a lot on my kids, but by far my favorite is telling them they aren't allowed to smile when they're grumpy. Hey, no smiling. I see that. Don't you dare do it. Stop smiling. Even make it a competition to see who can hold the grumpy face the longest. Gets them out of their mood within minutes every time. Actually comforting my daughter when she's acting a fool over not getting her way. I know a lot of people crap on this because whatever, but seriously, she still doesn't get what she wants and I don't rush to her. I stay with her when she tantrums and after a few seconds she runs to me for a hug. I grab her up and it gives us the chance to talk through why she isn't getting her way and how she can deal with it better than tantruming. I get hella compliments on how well behaved my kid and I'm 100% convinced it's because of little things like this. So many people told me I should let her tantrum it out in the other room. Nah man. Have a little compassion and talk to your kids like they're actually human. Crap works. Research has shown that is the best behavior management strategy. Acknowledging children's feelings and telling them it's okay to have them is so helpful to their social emotional development. Not a parent, but my little sister hates putting her toys in their box after playing. So yesterday, instead of telling her to do so, I went into her room, started putting the toys away, and told her I was winning because I was putting the toys in the box faster than she was. She ended up putting all of her toys in the box in about 3 minutes. She did call me a loser at the end, but I think it was worth it. When I was a toddler, I had cancer and had to spend a lot of time in a children's hospital. My floor was basically one big circle of windowed rooms on the outside with a big nurse's station in the middle so they could keep an eye on everything. Getting up and walking was very important to my recovery, so my parents would encourage me to take a lap with them around the nurse's station. I was usually tired, and also an uncooperative toddler, so I was less than enthusiastic about it. My parents would get me to walk with them about 3/4 of the way around the nurse's station, then ask if I wanted to turn around and go back to my room. Being a dumb kid, I always thankfully agreed, and that's how my parents used reverse psychology to get me to do 1.5 laps instead of just one. My daughter was struggling with some math homework in 2nd grade. I was trying to help her, but she was just getting frustrated and giving up without even trying. So I took her worksheet and said, "Let me see if I can figure this out." I looked at it for a few seconds, started to make some marks on the paper, then erased them, looked at the paper again and then acted like I was frustrated too. But then I decided to one-up her frustration by putting my head down, fake crying, fake tears, the whole 9 yards. It was a performance for the ages. My daughter, being incredibly empathic, immediately said, "It's okay daddy, you're not stupid. I'll show you how to do it." I lifted my head up, dried my tears and proceeded to let my daughter teach me how to do 2nd grade math. Turns out she knew more than she was letting on, but was either just tired or being lazy. Math is now one of her strongest subjects and she actually enjoys doing it. I wanted to get my kids to do chores for the appreciation of hard-earned money. The weekly allowance was $5, which didn't motivate anyone to try hard on their chores. I now give them $20 a week, but they have to pay $5 in rent, $5 for internet, and $5 for food. So now that they get to hold it and spend it, they bust about doing chores for their huge $20 allowance. Stupid kids. That is great because now they feel like they're contributing to the things they need to. It sounds like an even better way for them to appreciate earning money. Well done. Although it will be interesting to see how the conversation goes if they decide they're not getting their money's worth in services. Reverse psychology doesn't work well for me, but labeling is great. Labeling, you first tell the person they fit into a group that they want to be part of, i.e. smart, helpful, something along that lines, then you make a request that is fitting of that group. Isabel, you are always so helpful. Then a minute later, hey Isabel, can you help me fold laundry? I know this is the opposite of what you've asked, but it always make me laugh. My partner's stepdad was annoyed with how many chocolates and sweets the kids ate, so he bought them so much chocolate every day in the hopes they'd get sick of it. They lived every child's dream for years. It never worked. While eating ice cream in the kitchen in the middle of the night, my son came in unexpectedly, busted, and this was the last of it. I did not want to share. "What are you eating?" "Ice cream. Want some?" "Sure." I hold out my bowl. "There aren't many nuts in it. You can pick around them." He recoils. "I don't want it." I sigh impatiently and hold out a spoonful. "Just try it. You'll like it." He gets mad. "You know I hate nuts, Mom." "I don't want it. Now leave me alone." "Fine." I snap as he stomped out of the room. "But it wouldn't have killed you to just try one bite." The thing is, I hate nuts more than he did, and my whole family knows it. There were no nuts. It was chocolate fudge. I still can't believe that worked. When we want her to try something new, one of us pretends to be scared to do it or try it, so she and the other parent try to convince us how it's perfectly fine, or fun, or how it'll be tasty. She is always so busy arguing for what's right about trying something, she almost never says no. So, she's been on roller coasters, hiked along waterfalls, had no fears about her first plane ride, eats almost anything, spicy things, fancy cheeses, olives, all vegetables, and when she does say no, we absolutely respect it as a limit for her, of course. So only I eat fish and shellfish, sadly. This backfired on my brother. If we pretended to not like something or be scared, he instantly didn't like it either. My daughter used to refuse to go upstairs for her bedtime. I used to say right then, "I am going up without you," and she would follow me up. I think it must have played on her fear of abandonment. Currently do this with my kids. If I give them veggies at dinner, It'll be the last thing on their plate to be eaten, and 9 times out of 10 they'll be too full to eat them. But plop them in front of the TV while I'm cooking supper with a snack of a big butt plate of veggies and they will eat them every time. It's win-win-win. They're out of my face when I'm cooking. They're eating all their veg. And if I call anything a snack, they're more prone to eating it without question. My daughter wouldn't get dressed and locked me out of her room to keep from getting dressed. I opened the lock, opened the door, and threatened to lock her in her room if she doesn't get dressed. She got dressed immediately. I'm not in here with you. You're in here with me. My little sister is 3 years younger than me. Sometimes our mum would take us shopping for clothes and let us pick one thing ourselves. She would give us a choice of, let's say 3 sweaters, and we could pick one. My sister would sometimes pick a 4th item that my mum found too expensive. Her solution? Tell my little sister that was clothes for boys. My sister would let go of it like it was on fire and choose one of the 3 options. My mum also said that never worked with me, since I would just go boys clothes. Says who and want it anyway. Tell your kid that you love the clothing item and you'll buy the same item for yourself so you guys can match when you go out. I promise you that most kids will be instantly turned off. I heard of a family doctor whose teenage son painted his hair blue. Instead of commenting on it, he dyed his own hair blue too. His son found out in the evening, after he had worked a day like that. The son, completely embarrassed, said, "You can't see patients like that, can you?" The doctor said, "Why not? I figured it's the new trend because you're doing it." The next day they both dyed their hair to a normal color. I'm the kid here, but when I told my mom that I was dating this girl from my high school class, the first thing she said was, "Don't be upset when you break up. I'm marrying that girl next the 8th of August years later." Congrats. My toddler was bitching about wanting a big kid bed and refusing to go sleep in her crib. I told her that she's all grown up now, so she can give her crib to her baby brother who will need it soon. Asleep in the crib within 3 minutes. 2 weeks ago, my almost 4-year-old daughter wanted to watch Moana for the 361st time that week. I told her yes. Whoa, I was worried you were going to ask to watch Star Wars. What's a Star Wars? Oh, it's this awesome movie, but you can't watch it, you're way too young. When you're older, we can cuddle on the couch and watch it together, but not until you're 6. Okay, I'll put on Moana. No, I want Star Wars. But sweetheart, it's a movie for big kids. I'll put on Moana for you. That's a cartoon for little kids like you. No. Within a few minutes we were watching The Force Awakens, and it's the first time she watched an entire movie from start to finish, and she's dressing as Rey for Halloween tonight. More like a lie, but I convinced my son, for 2 summers anyways, that the little white truck that drove down our block every evening was the vegetable man. That was until the day the man decided to drive his truck in the opposite direction and display the pictures of all his vegetables. From the time they were young I would joke when one of them did a chore or got a good grade, and that's why you're my favorite. It would create a happy competition and I did and still to this day enjoy the benefits. Daughter is a freshman in college and came home last weekend and said to her brother who is in 9th grade, "I folded laundry and that's why I'm mom's favorite. I'm one proud mom." Most of all at the humor sarcasm skills I've passed on. Mom did that to us growing up. I'm 32 and me and my siblings still argue at who is mom's favorite. She loves hearing us argue about it and can still get us to do things for her such as doing her grocery shopping or doing her laundry when we visit. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video. Bye for now. Bye.